Prior to you receiving this program from the Guardian's office in Los Angeles, were there any chapels at the San Francisco organization?
No.
Were there any crosses around the San Francisco organization?
No.
Were there any ministers within the San Francisco organization wearing clerical collars?
No, we never wore them.
And did Scientology, the San Francisco organization, advertise in the religious section of newspapers?
No, and I just remembered one. We had to get ourselves listed in the yellow pages under churches.
Within your personal knowledge, what was happening in Scientology that caused this religious image program to be instituted? Objection is to the form.
Well, it involved the coming trial of the Food and Drug Administration trial in Washington, D.C.
Well, how did it involve the Food and Drug Administration trial in Washington, D.C. if you're in San Francisco? Objection is to the form.
Because it was a federal case and it would affect all of the organizations, and we wanted to put up a united front across the country.
So was only the San Francisco organization that was given this program of religious image?
No, it went to every organization with the Guardian's office.
Objection, move to strike lack of foundation.
And how do you know it went to every organization through the Guardian's office?
Well, you just knew it. It just was a national program.
Objection calls for speculation.
Where did you learn that this was a national program?
Objection as to the form.
It was so marked on the program.
In Scientology, are there things known as networks?
Yes.
Can you explain what a network is in Scientology?
Well, in that time, when I was first introduced to networks, there was the FBO network, or the Flag Banking Officer Network. There was the LRH COM, C-O-M-M, which was short for communicator, the LRH COM network. And the GO was a network, but we didn't refer to it as such.
And what is meant by a network in Scientology?
Objection as to the form.
It is that there is a singular point somewhere at the top, and then you go down, spreading out, sort of Christmas tree fashion. For example, there would be an LRH COM WW who was at St. Hill. Then there would be at continental levels, like there was an LRH COM US, and then it would go out to be an LRH COM San Francisco, LRH COM Detroit, LRH COM New York. And so this thing would, each time it would come out, it would splinter and get wider and wider. It's sort of a pyramid spider's web. That's the network.
Move to strike lack of foundation.
And where did you learn this?
Well, I learned that at the San Francisco organization of how they worked, and I was also taught that at the USGO.
What was the purpose that you were taught of these networks?
Objection as to the form.
Because each network was independent. The LRH COM network was independent of the org. It had its own command line, its own command channel. The FBO network had its own command channel. He reported up to the FBO US, and he did not take orders from the local org. And it was the same way with the GO. We reported to the next echelon. We did not take orders from the local.
Move to strike, not responsive to the question.
So, you were part, for example, let's talk about the San Francisco org. While you were at the San Francisco org as the PR person for the Guardian's office, who were your superiors?
My superior would have been the immediate assistant guardian in San Francisco.
And who would be the superior to your superior?
The superior of the AG San Francisco would be the deputy guardian US.
Move to strike both. Last question is not responsive.
And the San Francisco organization, did it have a particular person in charge of the San Francisco organization itself?
Yes, there was the executive director of the San Francisco organization.
Okay. Did your superior, the AG at the San Francisco org, were they was the person in charge of the San Francisco org a superior to your superior?
No. Nor any network.
Objection, move to strike, not responsive.
What, when you were at the Guardian's office in San Francisco, did you get paid for your position?
Yes.
And who paid you?
Paid by the org.
Did the command channel, this network of superiors that you said was outside the org, did they pay you for your position at all?
Objection as to the form.
No.
How long did you stay at the San Francisco org?
Until about August or September of '73.
And how many years in total were you at the San Francisco org?
A little over 2.5.
Objection, ask and answer.
In those 2.5 years, were you only the PR in the Guardian's office?
Objection as to the form.
I temporarily held the assistant guardian post while she was gone to Los Angeles, but other than that few months, yes.
What was her name?
Kathy O'Gorman.
Mr. Young, and based upon your personal experience, if the person in charge of the entire San Francisco org wanted you to do something, would you have to listen to that person?
Objection as to the form.
Not at all.
By the way, that B1 op against the mental health director back in Los Angeles when you were in training, did that operation prove successful or unsuccessful?
Objection as to the form.
Apparently it was successful. We heard it was on the afternoon radio, and we were told it made the Los Angeles Times.
Move to strike, not responsive to the question. Is it yes or no?
All right. In addition to this one program that you brought back from your training in Los Angeles to the San Francisco org on religious image, did you do anything else? Were you instructed to do anything else in reference to promoting the religious image of Scientology?
Objection as to form. Also objection because it's been asked and answered repeatedly.
We had a checklist.
And who provided you that checklist?
That was part of the program.
And what was the checklist?
It was all those items that I named and a couple more.
What are the others?
Objection, asked and answered.
I just have to say, I just feel there was a couple of more. I can't remember them because these 6 or 7 I named seems awfully short.
Okay. How long did this program go on in reference to the religious image of Scientology at the San Francisco org while you were there?
Until I left. I mean, it didn't terminate. It was ongoing until I left.
Objection, move to strike, not responsive.
At the time that you left the San Francisco org in September of 1973, was that program still in play?
Yes.
And where did you go after September of 1973?
I was promoted to the USGO.
And who promoted you?
The USGO.
And who was the USGO at that time?
Bob Thomas was the Deputy Guardian US.
And when you said you're promoted to the USGO, what city did you go to?
Los Angeles.
Do you know why you were promoted?
Objection as to form.
Doing well in San Francisco, and my wife had also just been promoted to Los Angeles, and so keeping us together was advisable.
And your wife, Toby?
Yes.
And what was she promoted to?
She was promoted to LRH Com US.